right, so I'm a little late to the party here. I understand. It's all right. And the whiteboard appears to still be missing in action, it seems. Sadly, that is the case for the whiteboard junkies. So you'll just have to, I'm going to try to burn through these first four shows here. Been listening sporadically. Maybe if I got time, if I get through this quick enough, we will chat at the end a little bit. But unfortunately, fortunately and unfortunately, here I am. It is not some kind of retirement or whatever, not even a hiatus really. But so let's just get going. And first, I guess we'll talk about the overlooked songs. I'm not gonna do like a boom for boom throughout each night, but let's go with the overlooked songs first because they're the overlooked songs. I don't want to do the same thing halfway to the moon. Believe it or not, it's like whoa. And it's not one that's like, every time it's kind of going to be the same thing. Maybe you just like don't even like that song, but that's probably just what you think. You need to give that one another listen. That was from Orange Beach, night one. And then Winterqueen again. I've always kind of been a big Winterqueen guy. And that whole Mike's Groove that night, trying to get 9 songs in between Mike's and Weekapog, that usually doesn't always work out. But Winterqueen, one of the overlooked songs probably from this run. Not going to be a lot of people talking about Winterqueen on the internet, but perhaps they should be. That was night 3. And then, oh man, Steam, not a big Steam guy. Never going to hear it. It's not going to end up on the best of or anything like this from this early part of the shows. But Steam, and mainly why is because recently I've been listening to a lot of Black Sabbath, going back a few weeks ago. And just kind of had a Black Sabbath sound. As soon as they hit Steam, I was just like, whoa, what is this? Kind of sounds like Geezer Butler there. It's mainly just Mike getting it done. And then Squirming Coil. Not that people overlook Squirming Coil, but man, Paige McConnell getting to send us off, ending the first set. That was in Charleston night 1. So was the Steam Charleston night 1 as well. And, just having Paige playing it out, everybody else gone, having the whole place to himself, that's kind of a sore Peter, you just can't beat that. Slave to the Traffic Light set closer is pretty solid, but Coil, Mr. McConnell getting the show off. And now, so now that we've looked at the overlooked songs, let's get to the letdowns. And I'm sure there's others that were overlooked. There always is. Maze was a big letdown from night 3 at Orange Beach. They just raced through it. Wasn't the cleanest maze, and that's being polite, saying it wasn't. It was just a very forgettable maze. And it's a song that I'm a fan of. I'm always looking for a nice fiery rockin' maze. Not necessarily the case here. Mr. Andy Pasta was trying to rock, and then Martian Monster. More often than not, it is a bit of a letdown. I had high hopes for that one right from the get-go, and there's been a couple of them that got there. But it just seems like a song. It just seems like a slam dunk for them to do something cool with, and this doesn't seem to happen most of the time. Maybe we need to write Martian Monster off, and then the encores from Orange Beach night 1, starting the whole thing off, which is just some waste. Was it Waste and Santos? Oh man, and they've had some strong follow-up efforts. Tube and 46 Days encores one night. Isabella jumping in the encore another night. But those were the letdowns. Maze, Martian Monster, the M theme there, and then the encores. Just overall, just a bad. Oh man, what a way to start the tour too. So then let's get to overall the best, and then I guess everybody here is going to have their differences. And then I got Light number 1, Chucktown night number Chucktown. I'll give myself a slap in the face for saying Chucktown. South Carolina night 1. I thought the Light maybe so far overall from what I've heard was my favorite. Coming up right behind that was Tweezer from Orange Beach night 3. And Tweezer sometimes, it's like, all right, Tweezer's got so much hype behind it. Every time you hear those first few notes, you're just going wild. It's like, oh man, this is amazing. And the song just started. But this one did. It was mainly Paige and Mike. And, that was a bit of a theme on several songs throughout here. This early on, Paige and Mike. Normally we get a lot of Trey and Paige and Mike. And that was the deal on Tweezer. Got a little weird the last few minutes. There was a little bit of rock and Trey there. It took them a while to get going. Trey's just ripping. And then it got a little weird with Paige and with Mike. I believe the Drill made an appearance in Tweezer. And then Free. If sometimes the jams get to be sounding a little bit same, Free had a little bit of a new sound, maybe not a new sound, but a different sound. That's why I chose Light, Tweezer, and Free mainly. And then with Light, same night they played Set Your Soul Free. 2 jams, they kind of, I chose Light over Set Your Soul Free, big Light guy. But they did kind of have a similar sound to them. Free and Tweezer, a little different than that. The last several minutes of Tweezer definitely setting it apart. And then kind of the best of the rest, Sense and Subtle Sounds. I think we got a little Sense in My Shoe Mouth there, maybe slightly. And then Bathtub Gin, like if, if I ever do stop doing these things, it's just going to be because I'm saying stuff like Bathtub Gin and Wolfman's Brother. Again, speaking of Paige and Mike, Wolfman, songs getting flip-flopped and moved around. Not a totally new thing, really not new at all. They've kind of just been doing that forever, once they were established and had 100 shows or whatever under the deck. The songs have always been moved around. When I first started doing this stuff here on YouTube, first night right off the bat, man, some guy riff doesn't belong in the second set. Whatever, dude. Phish is going to put songs wherever, whenever. It's kind of the deal here, It's what we like about them. So, Wolfman's Brother in the second set, where personally I've always wanted one. And this one kind of delivered, It wasn't this slow build and just this monster peak that blows the roof off the place. In fact, it was Paige and Mike kind of doing a little bit of a shuffle there. And then we got Set Your Soul Free also. Like I said, very similar to the Light. Didn't want to put that in the best of. You pretty much got Light and Set Your Soul Free going same as. And we got some new weird voices. We got a new cool venue down there in Charleston. The time I went to Charleston, this was not the venue. So that's looking pretty cool. Some, like I said, songs moved around, the encores, up and down. The One Night Great with Tube and 46 Days. I've already mentioned that. We don't need to go on that. And the Sabbath sounding Steam. I guess it's probably always been that way. I just didn't notice, Maybe it's been a while since I refreshed the old dome here on Black Sabbath, but just instantly heard Sabbath and Geezer Butler throughout. And the Light and Set Your Soul Free jams, they just kind of had that what we got, maybe here post-pandemic, just sort of that soaring sound, you just picture just a wingsuit but going upward somehow. I don't know how that works. Maybe a wind current grab you and pull you upward. And, night one overall started out the thing. Maybe that was, I don't know, I won't say it was my favorite. I don't know if I got a favorite so far. No total duds, but nothing that's just like, oh yeah. Maybe night one in Charleston. And then I haven't heard tonight yet, night two in Charleston. But night one had just like, if it didn't have that big monsters, what it did have was a bunch of, stash, gin, sand, chalk dust, Sense and Subtle Sound. So it had multiple, good ones, 3.5, 4 stars, just maybe didn't have that 5 or 6, they never got it to 11, it just stayed around 9. So, all right, guys, there we are, I appreciate everybody that was, showed concern or was just missing the recaps, even the people that politely demanded a recap. I hope this, settles you over a little bit here, it's better than nothing. And, no crazy emergency, just a, people get sick. My father has fallen ill. Yeah, I shouldn't joke around about it. I mean, it really has been kind of dicey. He's been in and out of the hospital. Started last Friday, actually. The day tour started. Went to the emergency room, had a problem, gets out. They send him to a doctor. That doctor wants to send him to another doctor. Ends up back in the emergency room. Currently stable and sedated and, doesn't have COVID, that was cool. It was good to know. So, all right, man, looking at some coronary issues. Lots of testing. But, man, basically, he's just old and just he just eats like it. I mean, you know me, I guzzle my Pepsi. Dude is 75 years old and guzzles orange Sunkist. It's unbelievable he's made it this far. So, all right, boom. The man that got me saying the Phish. So, let's give a boom for the old man and the Phish, and hope to see you soon, guys.